Welcome to this video where we take a look at how we can use the walt.id wallet API, which is open source, to present a W3C verifiable credential to a verifier. The components we will be using is, first of all, the walt.id wallet API, which we can also see already here on the screen. We will also use the walt.id web wallet interface, which is hooked up to the walt.id API in the background. And as we can see, I already have 2 credentials in my wallet, which we could present to a verifier. And then, as a third part, we will be using the walt.id portal, which is powered by the issuer and the verifier API in the background, which are also open source, to then initiate the verification request, which we then will fulfill with the wallet. Before you start, or before we will start creating the verification request from the walt.id portal, make sure you have created a wallet account using this auth register endpoint, and you've also logged in. What you will also need during this video is your wallet. So when I'm already logged in and when I call now this endpoint, I will get my wallet ID. And this I need to save because I will use it in the later steps. Also, when you create your wallet account, you will get a default set of keys and a DID. So we can quickly list here my keys. I can see here I have a SEC P256R1 key and also my DIDs. And here I can see I have a DID JWK. Now, when you will create your wallet account, you won't have a credential in your wallet. So what you can do is either watch another video, which I will link on, where you can learn how to issue a credential and receive it in a wallet, or you will just go here to the portal, select the credential you want to issue, click start. Here on the issuance section, click issue, and then you can open that in the web wallet or copy the offer URL and then receive it in the wallet API. Now for this video, we will assume you already have that in your wallet. So let's now continue. The first step from a wallet perspective, we need to get some kind of authorization request from a verifier to start then with the presentation of a credential. And so we will go to the portal and I will here play the verifier who wants to request a bank ID. Now, here we can now see that we have a QR code on the screen. Now, depending on how you implement your wallet, which is powered by the wallet API, you can offer users different ways on how they then can interact with such an authorization request from a verifier. So you could offer the option that a user scans it with the mobile wallet, with the device, and then in the background, you pass it to the authorization request URL, which you can then pass to the wallet API, which we will see in a second. Or you give the users the option where it is a direct link. So when we click this button here, we would be redirected to the wallet front end, and here the request is then somehow passed via an URL, and then in this way handle the verification request. Now let's quickly go back and go through this step here again. So what we can now also do here is copy this authorization request URL, paste it here in a decoder, and this is what we will get. So this is basically what is also here in this QR code and would then also be provided in the direct link, which would be redirecting to your wallet front end. Assuming we now have this authorization request URL, the first thing we would then now need to do is figure out which kind of credential the user needs to present to the verifier to fulfill this authorization request. And if we quickly go here to my wallet, we can see I have a bank ID and an eID. Now the verifier, or we just requested a bank ID. And when we go here to the authorization request and we look for this presentation definition URI and open this URL right here, we see the presentation definition. And here we can see that this is filtering for a constraint where the VC type is bank ID. And we can now take this, go to the API and call the match credentials for presentation definition endpoint. Here in the body, we will provide what I just copied here over from opening this specific endpoint, which we got here from the authorization request. And so I provide this here. I provide my wallet ID. We execute this. And we can see here in the response, we get back just one credential that matches the presentation definition we provided here. And with this information, what we can now do is create a consent screen for the user where we say, here, this is the credential that was requested by the verifier. Should we share it? Basically, when we quickly go back here again, and we open this directly here in our wallet, this screen basically we could then now create because we filtered the credentials that match, and we can now present it to the user for consent. Now, after we've got the consent and can continue, we need to call a few more endpoints. The first is resolve presentation request. Here we provide the wallet ID. In the body, we will provide the original authorization URL. We copy the response, and then we go over to use presentation request. Here we provide the presentation request, so the response we just got from our last call. Then we need to provide the ID of the credential that matches the presentation definition. So basically going back to our match credentials for presentation definition response, I copied out the credential ID. This we don't need as we don't have an SD shot PC. And then we will provide our DID. So quickly going back here, I will copy out my DID. In case I would have multiple DIDs, I would here need then to choose the DID that this credential was bound to. And I provide my wallet ID, and then let's execute. Here we get a redirect URI from the verifier. This is optional because it can also be configured to have no redirect URI, but we could now visit this. And as we can see here, we successfully verified this bank ID credential, and these policies here were applied by the verifier service. I will also link in the description a link to the written version of this walkthrough. And if you enjoy our tools, please leave us a star on GitHub. And with that, happy building and see you next time.